Hey everyone, I'm Mark Cato. Welcome to the MC Squared. I'm bringing you this next law in our series of what it takes to build and participate on a successful team. And I'm going to tell you up front, this one's going to be a little sensitive and one of the most difficult for leaders to deal with. I want to introduce you to the law of the chain. And the law of the chain states that the strength of the team is impacted by its weakest link. You know, one of the biggest mistakes a leader can make, and I've certainly made, is the thought that everybody who is on their team should remain on their team. As much as every team wants to measure itself by its strongest people, the truth is the strength of the team will be impacted by its weakest link. If I ask you to tell me about your team, the first person or people that jump in your mind are your strongest members. Now that's completely natural. We all do this. We want to measure our team by the strength of our best people. But the truth is, and what we have to acknowledge, is the weakest link will have an impact on that team to be able to achieve the goals and the objectives. You know, no matter how you try to rationalize it, compensate for it, or hide it, the weak link is always going to come to light. Now that's important. However, this can be one of the most difficult things for a leader to deal with because a leader sees the best in people. They want to bring out talents and skills in people that they don't even see in themselves. When you think of your team members, you need to see if they fit into any of these next three categories. First, not everyone will take the journey. You know, some people simply don't want to go. If your team is a fast-moving group trying to set new ground, you need to acknowledge and understand that some folks simply don't like change. Now, all you can do with folks like this who fit into this category is thank them for their contribution and move on. The second category is not everyone should take the journey. Now, some people shouldn't remain on your team because it's not in alignment with their personal agenda. I talked about this in the last video of the big picture. If you have someone on your team who has other plans that don't align with the objectives or match up with what the team is trying to accomplish, hanging on to these people not only is hurting your team, but hurting them to achieve their goals. The third category you have to evaluate is not everyone can take the journey. Now, for folks in this group, it's an issue of ability and skills. They simply can't keep pace with the other team members and help them to achieve their goals. But because they've made the choice to not improve those skills, they simply can't continue the journey. Now, what do you do if you have people who fit into any of these three categories? Well, you really only have two choices. You either train them or you trade them. Now, I certainly hope you do the first. And training can come in several different forms. You can help people by giving them a book, sending them to conferences. You can hook them with a mentor. You can give them new challenges. However, after all that effort, if they simply don't improve, well, as my dad used to say, water seeks its own level. And you need to allow him or her to seek their own level somewhere else. But what you can't do is nothing. A team member may be able to avoid the hard decisions of dealing with a subpar member, but a leader can't. In fact, that's one of the differences between a leader and a follower. It's action. And if you don't take that action to address the weak link, what you're doing is undermining your leadership. You're showing a lack of commitment to achieve the objective. Now, I know this is difficult. It's one of the most difficult things we all have to deal with. But I want to give you a closing thought on this law. The team cannot continually cover up the weakest link. Thanks for listening. I'll talk to you soon.